Kathy Barker. We are right here in downtown Los Angeles. So when you say we're not going away with these issues, what are those issues?
I like to tell the stories of other people to inspire other people.
How do I introduce you? Girl, boy, di tiyak, o ano?
Hindi namin alam eh. Kahit kami naguguluhan kami. Pero isa lang ang alam ko, nagmamahalan kami.
I believe that there are a lot of good stories from ordinary people like you.
To continue our story on what makes a good doctor, we asked Dr. Fuertes why many people in Surigao City seek out his care and where does he get his strength when he deals with life and death situations. When you're a physician, the life of this person is in your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
What goes through your mind when you're pulling out that person from death?
My safe zone as a doctor when I manage very difficult cases is actually the objectivity. I mean, I don't look at the situation in terms of my confidence that I can really pull out this patient from eventual death, because there are really situations when no matter what you do, patients can really still die. But if you are objective enough and you are frank enough to yourself to accept the actual prognosis of the patient, meaning the true score of the patient at that particular time, and you are able to communicate that to the family concerned, and I guess even if the patient eventually succumbs to death, actually the entire situation becomes still just as fulfilling, because you are able to appraise the family, you are able to prepare them for the eventuality of death, and that makes them accept the death of their loved one relatively more easily than when they are caught off guard that the loved one just dies without them really anticipating the death. So there are situations that are difficult, but still based on my training as a subspecialist, I can anticipate that if everything will just go well in place, those situations would prompt me to give confidence to the family and to the patient that we can pull this off. If only I am able to really define the extent of the problem, that's the impetus for all the decisions eventually.
Dr. Fuertes also describes how his prayers and his beliefs in miracles is part of his medical practice.
Yeah, my personal advocacy when I manage difficult cases is really to expose myself, my thinking, like trying to make myself an open book to the patient and to the family, so that all the dilemmas, all the difficult things that I am trying to weigh in my mind, I have to frankly expose that and tell that to the family, so they will also understand the extent of the difficulty in the decision-making process eventually. Like if I give one particular drug, I have to tell them the possibilities of whether patient can respond, what extent of response should we expect, and what eventual or rather what subsequent actions we need to take should the patient not respond. So again, just being able really to communicate the case to the patient and the family is one very important thing that a doctor actually needs to do.
Dr. Fuertes is known for being very thorough with his checkups. That's why every day at his clinic, you will see patients from different towns, islands, and provinces patiently waiting to be examined. One patient said, "Inaana gina si Dr. Fuertes, nagdugay na jud mag-check-up." He spends at least 30 to 45 minutes each patient. Dr. Fuertes says he wants to be sure he does not miss anything about his patients, even if sometimes patients would tell him off-topic stories, because those stories may help him understand the patient's illness. He recalls a dying patient whose case he took over from a different doctor. It was a difficult case because there was little chance that the patient would survive. He said a long prayer before he started the operation, seeking for God's intervention. The patient survived and the family could not thank him enough. One family member even kneeled in front of him to thank him, but he believes that God can save the patient with a miracle. When asked if he ever gets tired, he admits that he does get tired, especially when he reaches 20 to 25 checkups in a day. His family feels it when he gets home after a day of work. He says he gets a little time with his family, but he's glad also that his family understands his work and he's also happy to help people. He says that when you have enough courage to help people, you forget that being tired. Dr. Fuertes considers being a doctor is more than just a profession. It is a calling, which is the reason why he charges patients on their ability to pay. He believes that he is an instrument of God. That's why he prays for every patient that he treats, because he believes that he can do nothing without God's help. However, without being too political, Dr. Fuertes believes that healthcare is a right, and he wishes that one day everyone in the Philippines, especially the poor, will have access to medical care.
To absorb some of their problems. Yes, that's really expected. That's why part of the skill that every physician has to master is how to shield themselves and or
Right.
not to shield in a way that you get disconnected. Yeah, you connect with them, but you need to know how to process
Right.
that connection
Right.
at the end of the day, because otherwise
You have to empathize as well.
Yeah,
Right.
empathy is really part, and that is one character of a good doctor.
If you know of someone who liked to share their stories, please email it to me, effiebarker@gmail.com.